Friends, we need to be asking the right questions. Recently, I was asked by a well-meaning businessman. He said, "Let me ask you, doesn't it seem like your work is impossible?" Well-intentioned, but impossible. And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And he said, "Well, if we have all of this resources and money and technology and learning institutions here in the United States, and yet we have gang violence, and yet we have oppression and exploitation, and all of these challenges that we have with our children and young people, what makes you think that it's possible to fix these challenges in places that don't have those resources, places in the developing world?" And I gave him an answer that I believe in, and why it's possible, and why it's beyond possible that we're actually going to do it, and our processes are good. But I left that meeting unsatisfied, because I should have answered the question this way. I should have said, "You're asking the wrong question. The wrong question is it possible?" The right question is, should we? And just a month and a half ago, I was on a street in Costa Rica, in this community that's extraordinarily dangerous. And there's gang members everywhere, and poverty and challenges and trash, and it's a really difficult community. And I'm walking around the street, and I'm with our partner, and she knocks on the door. She's the leader of our partner organization, Lifting Hands. She knocks on the door, and a young girl comes to the door, and she's 17 or 18 years old, and she's carrying a baby, and there's a little baby kind of grabbing her leg, and our partner talks to her for a few minutes and asks her if she needs anything, and we walk away from that interaction, and our partner says to me, "That girl is a prostitute. She is controlled by the local gang. She's basically enslaved. She has the tattoos on her to insignate, to show that she's an owned person." And she got into it at 14 years old when an older man convinced her that he loved her, and then he got murdered, and she really fell into the narco economy. And I've never forgotten that girl's face and those babies. And I've thought about it as I've walked my own street right here. And I've thought, man, if there was an enslaved person on my street, a 17-year-old girl with babies, if that was my niece or my daughter, I wouldn't ask questions like, "Is it possible?" I would ask questions like, what do we do about it? How do we change this? How do we fix this tomorrow so more young women don't fall into this, more young men don't fall into the drug trade and the violence and the death? And that's what we're doing. Our project is answering that question. And so I want to encourage you all, ask the right questions. And the answer is, yes, we should.